Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on Scraptember. This is day number 6 and our prompt is school. So as I have said, I homeschooled my children for roughly 24, maybe 25 years, and these two were my babies and my last two homeschool students. We were doing a science experiment where the kids they took their temperature, they got all bundled up in winter stuff, and then did some crazy exercises. So I took photos as they were doing that. And then the last thing that they did was they took their temperature after they exercised, and then they got into the refrigerator as well as they could. We weren't closing our children into the refrigerator. How silly would that be? But they got into the refrigerator, kind of partially closed the door to see if we could find differences in their body temperatures. And the kids had a lot of fun, as you can see from Emily's smiling face. Pretty sure Seth was thinking we were absolutely nuts, but he did have fun. So I'm going to be scrapbooking these photos, and I am using Pretty Little Studios Well Red collection for this. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock and 2 shades of blue. This is Bahama, and this one is Icy Mint. Both of them are from Basil. I've got this beautiful sunburst style paper. And then I've got a stripe and the leftovers from day 1's page, which is the text print. So we'll see what I end up actually using here on this layout. I'm going to pause and get started with this. I will be right back. So I felt like that sunburst paper was begging to be stitched, and so I did a lot of stitching off camera. And I also took the circle that you see, and I know you can't really see it, but I added some splatters to mimic the ones that are on the pattern paper, and I cut chevron arrows out of the striped paper, and I hand stitched those down as well. And so I have quite a bit of stitching on there, and I love the texture that hand stitching brings. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm taking this title that I cut with my Cameo, and I cut 3 of them, and I've mentioned this before, but what I like to do when I cut titles or alphas with my Cameo, or even sometimes designs, I will stack a set of 3 of them to give it the look of a chipboard title or a Thickers title. And I love to do this because it does bring a little bit of texture to the page. And then on the title, I also did some splatters to mimic the pattern paper that I used for my background. And so I'm just kind of gluing these together, and now I'm going to cut off some of the little excess pieces. Sometimes when I cut a file, I have a lot of hanging pieces, and I like to trim those out if I can. So I'm going to put this title down here on the bottom, and the title of the layout is going to be Weird Science, because it really was just a weird little experiment. It was fun, the kids enjoyed it, they learned stuff, and that was totally the whole point. But it was a little bit strange to try to put the kids inside the refrigerator as well as they could, so that they could see if their body temperatures changed with the change of the outward conditions. And honestly, I don't remember now what we were trying to come up with. That was probably it, trying to see if your body temperature changed due to your external conditions. But I don't remember now. It's 2016. I don't remember. And the kids also didn't remember even doing the experiment, which cracked me up. Anyway, they might if they saw the photos, but I know that Emily really had fun bundling up silly with her coat and house coat and blanket and a hat and everything, and jumping up and down. I think she thought that was just the best fun. So I'm not going to be using a whole lot of embellishments for this layout. I pull out 3 stars from this sticker sheet, and I'm using my powder tool to take the sticky off the back, because I'm going to be using some fun foam behind them, and so I don't want the edges to stick where the fun foam isn't at. I'm also going to pull out at least 1 die cut from this little pack here, I ended up making a humongous mess. I'm trying to pull everything out of the way, but I knew that I wanted to use the stack of books with the plant and the glasses on it, just because this is a school day and a stack of books represents school as much as anything. I could have used the boy and girl piece ephemera, and that would have been cute on this page as well. I didn't, so I pull out those, and then I pull out a bunch of these little stars that are in a circle. I think I pull out as many of those that are in the pack as I can, and then I just set things aside to put away after I finish recording. That way you don't have to watch me do it all. And then I'm going to pull out, I think, a couple of labels, maybe 3, maybe 2. I'm just going to pull out some that work for the journaling on this layout. I believe it's 3 that I grabbed, 3 of the rounded ones, so that I can tell a little bit of a story about this page. And honestly, really, there's not a whole lot more going to go on this page once I get everything on here. I'm going to put one of the stars down near the lower right, and I'm going to put a couple of the stars on the upper right, lower left, upper right. And then I'm going to add some of the stars in circles on here. And then I will shut the camera off and glue everything down and write my journaling. Here's my title. It says, like I said, it says Weird Science. And yes, that is a take on the old movie. That was a really fun movie in case you've never watched it. Probably not appropriate for children, but it was cute and funny. And it's got some of the old 80s characters that were so popular back then. But I think here I'm done, and I'm going to shut the camera off. All right, I got my layout completely finished. As you can see, I did quite a bit of stitching off camera on this layout. I love to stitch on my layouts, and if you have been a follower of mine here on this channel for very long, you already know that I love to stitch. I have lots of friends who think I'm crazy. Maybe that's true. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here today. If you have any comments or questions about this layout, please drop them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. There is a playlist for the month of September for the Scraptember prompts. We get a new prompt each day, and they're relatively fun and they're easy, so I'm hoping to be able to finish some of my 2016 album. Somebody asked, there are 10 so far, or 9 so far for 2016. I'm going to have to buy a second December album, so there should be 10 altogether once I get them all finished. So, and that is about average for how many I complete per year. The albums that I am using for 2016 are We Are Memory Keepers. They're a little bit thinner than the ones I used for 2015, which were Pioneer, and the Pioneer albums are what I'm going to be using in 2017. So because the Pioneer albums are a little bit wider, I can get a few more layouts in them. So anyway, thank you for being here. If you have any comments or questions, do drop them below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.